So you're thinking about moving to North York. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the most extensive overview of the top 8 neighborhoods in North York. And I'm going to do a few things for you. First, I'll walk you through each neighborhood on a map so you can get a feel for what's around it. Second, I will discuss a brief summary of that neighborhood, including where it ranks for restaurants, shops, public transportation, access to major streets, and schools. And then third, we're going to jump in my car and we'll drive through each of these neighborhoods and I'll show you the types of homes and we'll discuss the demographics as well. Just a quick note before we start, this video was made in March 2026, so the prices might not be applicable depending on when you're watching this video. But if you click one of the links in the description below, you can get an updated price sheet for each of the neighborhoods. Hey, if this is your first time to my channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Toronto and its different districts such as North York, then subscribe below. I've been a real estate broker in Toronto for over 12 years. My name is Jamie Goldman and I get calls every day from buyers and sellers just like you about making a move in Toronto. So whether you're looking to make your move today, in 9 months, or even over a year from now, you can call, text, or email me. Here's my contact information, and you can also get it in the description below. So as I mentioned, we're going to discuss the top 8 neighborhoods in North York. And just quickly, if you don't know Toronto that well or you don't know North York that well, let's take a quick look at it on Google Maps. So on the map, we see North York and it's quite a substantial size, covers a lot of Toronto as we can see, and it sits just above the city. So here's downtown Toronto, and then all the way up here, you have North York. Now the population of North York is about 600,000 people. That's from 2021. And there are a lot of young families moving into North York. So let's just review some of the major things that really appeal to people who live in North York. So depending on where you live in North York, your commute into the city can vary quite drastically, with some of these more northern, eastern, or western neighborhoods being a little more difficult to get into Toronto. Now, some of the neighborhoods that we're going to cover are very close to the subway line. So you have the Yonge University line that runs down here all the way into downtown, and then it also comes down here into downtown. So that can make your commute quite easy. In terms of major highways, you have the 401, which is at the bottom part of North York. You also have the DVP and the 404 that runs north-south, and Allen Road as well. And in the western part of North York, you have the 400 that runs north-south and connects to the 401. Airports are pretty close by. Pearson is not too far away, especially if you just get on the 401. That would vary depending on the time of day, but Pearson Airport right over here is not too far from North York. And in terms of restaurants, entertainment, shops, you have Yorkdale Mall, which is one of the biggest malls in Toronto right here. You also have Bayview Village, which is a very upscale boutique mall. You have Fairview Mall, which is over here in the eastern part of North York. And you have very trendy streets. So this is Yonge and Sheppard right over here. This is really the downtown of North York. Avenue Road, which is just south of North York, is a very trendy street. This is where you have a lot of boutique restaurants and shops. And then Bayview Avenue as well. You have a lot going on, especially if you go a little more south on Bayview. Again, this is just outside of North York, but you have a ton of boutique restaurants and shops. Yonge and Sheppard is so built up, you can find anything you want up here that you would find in downtown Toronto. And one more thing to mention as well is you have shops at Don Mills, which is over here in the eastern part of North York. It's an outdoor mall that is actually quite nice to visit, even in the winter months. There's a lot you can do, a lot of great shops. Outdoor space and nature is very abundant in North York. You have Earl Bales Park, you have G. Ross Lord Park, you have a ton of ravines that run throughout North York. And Downsview Park is being completely revitalized. It's a decommissioned airport. We'll discuss it because some of the neighborhoods that we'll be reviewing are right by Downsview Park. North York is also home to some of the best hospitals in Toronto. You have North York General, which is by the 401 in Leslie. And then just down Bayview, you have Sunnybrook. And then over to Keele, you'll find Humber Hospital. So the first neighborhood we're looking at is Armour Heights. And this is really a hidden gem. So Armour Heights is located at Avenue Road and the 401. It's a mixed age neighborhood with more young families buying and renovating in the area. And because it's tucked away just around the 401, It's a very tight feeling community. It literally has direct access onto the 401 from the Avenue Road Bridge, and there are two major commercial hubs nearby. So the first one is Avenue Road, which, as I mentioned in the intro, has a lot of boutique restaurants and shops. Now the next area is Bathurst and Wilson over here. You have a lot of restaurants along Bathurst Street, and you have a no frills right here for shopping. You're not too far from Yonge and Sheppard, which is the downtown core of North York. As well, you have a plaza at Bathurst and Sheppard, which has a bunch of restaurants and other shops that make it easy to run errands. Armour Heights is very close to two subway stops. You have York Mills right here, and then you have Wilson Station right over here. Now, in terms of shopping, Yorkdale is very close. You can just get on the 401 or take Wilson and you're at Yorkdale Mall. There's also a Costco and a Home Depot right around here. And this is Downsview Park, the decommissioned airport I was telling you about. It's going to be completely revitalized into a mixed-use community. And again, that's not too far from Armour Heights. Just north of Armour Heights, you have Earl Bales Park. This is one of the best parks in Toronto if you like to jog or go on nature walks. It goes deep into a ravine, and there's so much to do here. There's a ski hill and tobogganing hill, and you can also get great views of North York. There's a whole ravine system and golf course that also runs right by Armour Heights. There are a lot of gyms nearby at Yonge and Sheppard. You have an LA Fitness and a Good Life. And then up Bathurst Street, you also have the JCC, which is a top tier community with state-of-the-art facilities. So let's jump in my car and take a look at the neighborhood. This is one of Toronto's most quietly prestigious neighborhoods. Beautiful and wide tree-lined streets, and you'll notice that there are no condos or high-rise apartment buildings nearby. Instead, you have detached homes. Many of them are old brick homes dating between 1920 to the 1960s. A lot have been renovated with large additions to give more square footage and modern finishes. This area has a distinct character. It's mid-century with some modernist homes. The northern part sits on the former York Downs Golf Club with generous ravine lots overlooking the Don Valley. You'll notice that these homes are significantly bigger than the rest of the neighborhood. As you can see, the homes vary in size, so depending on your budget, you can definitely find a home that suits your needs here. The streets are more irregular and do not follow a strict grid, which really gives the neighborhood more of a tight community feel, almost like a little village. The schools here consistently rank among the top performing public schools in the city. There are two different school catchment areas that serve this neighborhood. One catchment is Summit Heights Public School and William Lyon Mackenzie Collegiate, and the other part of the neighborhood falls under Armour Heights Public School and Lawrence Park Collegiate. You also have private schools nearby. Earl Bales Park is the main park that serves this neighborhood, and it's accessible right from Armour Heights. 40% of the households have children, and the average household income is $162,000. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just over $2.2 million. The lowest sale was $1.18 million, and the highest was $6 million. The next neighborhood we're looking at is Bathurst Manor. Bathurst Manor is bordered by Sheppard to the south, Dufferin to the west, and then it goes down this beautiful ravine system from G. Ross Lord Park. And then the system runs all the way into Earl Bales Park. So there's a lot of nature in Bathurst Manor. Now this neighborhood is not only bigger than Armour Heights, but it's also more quiet. It's a bit of a sleepy neighborhood. You're further away from trendy areas like Avenue Road, and even getting to Yonge and Sheppard, depending on traffic, this can still be a decent drive. Living in Bathurst Manor is more of a car-dependent neighborhood. That being said, you do have the Sheppard West subway station right by Downsview Park. So if you live in the southern part of Bathurst Manor, it's not too difficult to get to the subway. Bathurst Manor is a great area for families. It is extremely close to York University, which is over on Keele. Along Dufferin, it can get very industrial, but you also have a lot of shopping opportunities. Just off of Steep Rock, there's a plaza here that has an LCBO, a Starbucks, Boston Pizza, McDonald's, and a Shoppers. There are also other restaurants in there. Further south, you have access to Allen Road. Now, Allen Road runs just on the southern part of Bathurst Manor, which makes your commute a little bit easier if you have to get into the city, although during rush hour, the Allen can be absolutely bottlenecked. Then you also have access to the 401 through Allen Road. Downsview Park is right here, which is awesome. And as I mentioned, they're going to revitalize the airport. Now, Bathurst Manor doesn't have any trendy streets near it. Sheppard Avenue is changing with a lot of low-rise condos, and some restaurants are moving in. You have the plaza that we talked about before at Bathurst and Sheppard. Now, downtown North York, over here at Yonge and Sheppard, really isn't too far from Bathurst Manor. Now you're going to rely on taking an Uber or driving here. This is where the TTC's Shepherd line ends, so there is no subway service from Yonge all the way to Bathurst or to Dufferin. Now this is a solid neighborhood for young families that are looking for more of a suburban, quiet feel. Now, in terms of community centers, the biggest one servicing this area is the JCC. And again, this is a state-of-the-art facility, has pretty much everything you need. So let's jump in the car and take a quick look. Developed almost entirely in the 1950s to 1960s, Bathurst Manor feels like Toronto took a deep breath and slowed down. The neighborhood was originally built with bungalows, side splits, and ranch-style homes on larger lots. It's common to find 50-foot lots in Bathurst Manor. Today, custom homes dot the neighborhood, but a lot of the original bungalows still stand. It's a great opportunity if you want to downsize to a bungalow or if you're looking to build a custom home for your family on a large lot. The streets are nice and wide here, but much longer than Armour Heights. It gives off more of a post-war suburban feel. Bathurst Manor features a variety of highly rated public, Catholic, and private schools, including William Lyon Mackenzie Collegiate Institute, which is noted for its top ranking in the Toronto District School Board. It also has Charles H. Best Junior Middle School and Wilmington Elementary School. The area is known for strong academic programs, including STEM, specialized arts, and Jewish education, with several schools servicing the community, such as Tannenbaum Chat. Two large parks are right here, Earl Bales and G. Ross Lord Park, featuring hundreds of acres of trails and fields. 20% of the households have children, with an average household income of over $116,000. The area is getting younger, but 25% of people who live here are over the age of 50. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just over $1.52 million, with the lowest sale at $1.13 million and the highest sale at $3.195 million. Just quickly, I'll show you an honorable mention neighborhood. It's Clanton Park. This neighborhood is just south of Bathurst Manor and just west of Armour Heights. We've already reviewed what's around those two neighborhoods, and it's really the same for Clanton Park. So let's jump in the car and see what the homes in this neighborhood look like. The backbone of Clanton Park is its post-war bungalows. These are solid homes on wide lots from the 1950s to early 1960s. Alongside these original homes, you'll find newer custom builds and mid-rise condos going up along Wilson and Tippett Road. The interior streets of Clanton Park are quiet, tree-lined, and very walkable. Schools in this neighborhood are top-rated and include Dublin Heights Elementary and William Lyon Mackenzie Collegiate. 41% of the households have children, with an average household income of $125,000. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just under $1.65 million. The lowest sale was $950,000 and the highest sale was $3.27 million. The next neighborhood we're looking at is Lansing, and this is right in the core of North York. The major intersection is Yonge and Shepherd, and just south you have the 401. This is a little bit of a smaller community, but you're so close to everything at Yonge and Shepherd that it pretty much provides every amenity you can find downtown. Subway access is super easy at Yonge Shepherd Station, which is right here. And if you want access to the 401, there are on-ramps at the southeastern part of Lansing. You also have a lot of parks nearby. You have Earl Bales, the Don Valley Golf Course, and then just north you have York Cemetery, which is actually a really nice place to go for a walk or a jog. Proximity-wise, you're in the heart of North York. When it comes to restaurants, gyms, entertainment, you have it all. There are movie theaters, there's a Longo's at Yonge and Shepherd, you have an LA Fitness. This area will give you every amenity that you want with a nice suburban feel if you live in the neighborhood. Or if you want more of a condo feel, there are a lot of condos at Yonge and Shepherd that you can choose from. So let's get in the car and take a look at Lansing. Even though this neighborhood is right by Yonge and Shepherd, it has a different kind of character. Long, tree-lined streets with some homes on massive ravine lots. You can see the density by Yonge, but you still feel like you're in a nice and quiet community. A lot of the bungalows date back to the early 1900s, but the area is constantly changing with newer luxury homes. Some of the larger 50-foot lots have massive homes on them, whereas the homes closer to Yonge can be on smaller 20 or 25-foot lots. The eastern boundary hugs the Don River Valley, and it feels like you're surrounded by nature here. It has a much more suburban feel than Armour Heights due to its longer streets. The public schools here are sought after and include Cameron Public School, Churchill Public School, and Northview Heights Secondary. 40% of the homes in Lansing have children, with an average household income of over $150,000 per year. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just under $2 million, with the lowest sale at $910,000 and the highest sale at $3,215,000. The fourth neighborhood we're looking at is Willowdale, and this is also located in the heart of North York, but it has a different feel than Lansing. The streets tend to be a lot longer and more suburban feeling, and depending on where you live, you could be quite a walk from major arteries such as Yonge Street or Bayview Avenue. To the south, you have the 401, and you also get the same amenities that Lansing has at Yonge and Shepherd. To the west, it goes along the ravine system to G. Ross Lord Park, and then it runs just north of Finch all the way to Bayview. So this is quite an extensive neighborhood. Now you have 3 subway stops that service this neighborhood. You have Shepherd Station, North York Center, which is around here, and you have Finch. So it's very easy if you take the subway to and from work. In terms of driving, you have the 401 just to the south, and you're not too far from the DVP, which is just over here to the east. If you live close to Yonge Street, you're within walking distance to pretty much everything you'd find downtown. But the further west you go or the further east you go, it does get more suburban and residential without the same amenities. If you like to shop, you have Bayview Village on the eastern edge of Willowdale. This is a very boutique shopping mall with high-end stores. And depending on your housing needs, you have a variety of townhomes, luxury homes, and condos along Yonge Street. So this could really suit a large variety of home buyers. There's a lot of nature that surrounds Willowdale, but it is on the extremities. So you have the ravine system, York Cemetery, and then if you go towards Bayview, you have a lot of greenery and park space as well. North York City Hall, or Mel Lastman Square, is also located right here in Lansing. It's right down here. So there's a lot of civic opportunities and events that go on within this neighborhood. There's shopping centers, there's movie theaters, grocery stores, restaurants. Yonge Street has it all. And this is such a great family neighborhood if you want a larger home on quiet streets while having access to all these commercial amenities right along Yonge Street. So let's jump in the car and take a look, and you'll see the difference between Willowdale and Lansing just with the larger streets and the more suburban feel to the neighborhood. As we drive through Willowdale, you'll notice that there are more housing types than other neighborhoods. You can find condos, townhomes, and detached homes in Willowdale. This is North York's urban core. It can feel dense, and you can see condos and apartment buildings nearby. 61% of the dwellings in this neighborhood are high-rise apartments or condos. The age of the homes can range from original 1910 construction to brand new luxury homes. Willowdale is a neighborhood where the term monster home was first coined in Toronto. This neighborhood has an upscale suburban feel with long tree-lined streets. The homes here tend to be larger, and the proximity to Yonge Street makes Willowdale a sought-after neighborhood. The deeper you live into this neighborhood, the less you notice the density on Yonge Street. There's a good mix of older and newer homes, providing buying opportunities for a variety of budgets. This neighborhood can feel very quiet if you're away from Yonge Street, or if you want more of a city feel, you can live closer to Yonge Street. Schools in Willowdale offer a diverse, high-achieving environment featuring top-tier public, private, and specialized institutions. Key schools include Earl Haig Secondary School, which is noted for its arts program, Willowdale Middle School, which has a French immersion program, and there are various private school options around here as well. 32% of the households have children, and the average household income is over $127,000. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just under $2.2 million. The lowest sale was just over $1 million, and the highest was $4.1 million. The fifth neighborhood we're looking at is Bayview Village, and this is located more to the eastern part of North York. If we zoom in on the map, we can see that Bayview Village is a smaller but more residential neighborhood. It's very treed in with this ravine system that runs through it. The main commercial hub is along Shepherd Avenue East, and that runs from Bayview Avenue all the way to Leslie Street. You have Bayview Village right here, which is a mall we've talked about before. And if you get closer to Leslie, you have a lot of stores. You have an IKEA, a Canadian Tire, there's a Starbucks, a Mech. If you rely on the subway, the Shepherd line is right here, and you have 3 stations that service the area. You have Bayview Station, Bessarion Station, and Leslie Station. In terms of getting around by car, the 401 is on the southern edge of Bayview Village, and that provides easy access as well to the DVP and the 404. The boundaries of Bayview Village are 401 to the south, Bayview to the west, Finch to the north, and then Leslie to the east. Just south of Bayview Village, you have the Leslie Keg, which in my opinion is the best keg in the entire city. This is such a great North York neighborhood to live in if you want more of a residential feel, with a decent amount of commercial opportunities just on the southern edge. If you rely on the 401 and the subway, both are right there in the neighborhood. And you're not too far from the heart of North York. You can just take the Shepherd subway line, or you can drive in or take a bus. This area is awesome for young families that want more nature, they want a little more of a quiet neighborhood, So let's get in the car and I'll show you what it looks like. Bayview Village is one of the more unique neighborhoods. It was designed and planned in 1954 by town planner E.G. Faludi. You'll notice that the streets here are very different than most Toronto neighborhoods. They curve and wind to follow the natural contours of the land. Bayview Village does not really have a grid. There are a lot of cul-de-sacs with gentle bends, and the streets are lined with mature birch, cedar, willow, and spruce trees. Nearly a quarter of the land in this neighborhood is green space. Here you'll find a lot of trails, wildlife, and naturalization zones. Most of the homes are built between 1954 and 1964. Raised and executive-style ranch bungalows, split levels, and Georgian revival homes on medium to large lots. Many have been renovated or completely rebuilt into custom luxury properties, particularly the homes on the ravine-facing streets. And if you're looking for a condo or apartment, you will find those along Shepherd Avenue East. Bayview Village offers a highly regarded selection of public, Catholic, and private schools. These are consistently ranked among the top in Toronto. The key schools here are Elkhorn Public School, Bayview Middle School, and Hollywood Public School. 34% of the households have children, with an average household income of over $149,000. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was $2.3 million. The lowest sale was $1.47 million, and the highest was $4.7 million. Moving on to the sixth neighborhood, we have Henry Farm, which is on the eastern edge of North York. This is a great neighborhood for families that rely on the DVP or to be close to Scarborough. On the southern edge of Henry Farm, you have the 401. And then it's bordered on the northern edge by Shepherd to Victoria Park. And the 401, the DVP, and the 404 pretty much cut through this neighborhood. This is a very small neighborhood. And if we zoom in, you can just see it's just one little pocket of streets here, but it's really sought after for its location. It's close to the subway station at Don Mills, and it's right by North York General Hospital. If we zoom out, you have a lot of shopping opportunities. You have Fairview Mall, which is just up here. You have IKEA and Canadian Tire. This is the same complex that services Bayview Village. And just south of here, you have Shops at Don Mills, which is an outdoor shopping center in Toronto. Since it's such a small neighborhood and we've already talked about some of the things that are around it, let's just jump in the car and take a look at what it looks like. Henry Farm is such a small neighborhood, it's easy to overlook if you're just driving through it quickly. This compact neighborhood was once literally a farm, settled by Irish immigrant Henry Mulholland in 1806. By the 1960s, it was developed into a residential subdivision, and most of what you're seeing right now dates from that era. Detached and semi-detached bungalows and two-story homes on modest lots. It's quietly suburban and well maintained. If you're looking for a family-friendly neighborhood without breaking the budget, Henry Farm might be the one for you. The area is served by a variety of high-quality public, Catholic, and private schools. There are top-rated options like Shaughnessy Public School and various French immersion programs. The area features strong community-focused education, including St. Timothy Catholic School, Forest Manor Public School, and George S. Henry Academy. 40% of the households in Henry Farm have children, with an average household income of $96,000. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just over $1.6 million. The lowest sale was $1.45 million, and the highest is $1.78 million. The seventh neighborhood we're looking at is Parkwoods, which is on the eastern edge of North York. It's just south of Henry Farm, but it's a much larger neighborhood, which offers more of a suburban feel. You're also further away from the 401 and the DVP if you want a neighborhood that's a little more quiet. Parkwoods is bordered by Lawrence Avenue to the south. You have the DVP to the west, 401 to the north, and the Victoria Park to the east. So again, very easy access to the DVP, the 401, and the 404. And similar to Henry Farm, you pretty much have the exact same amenities. You have Fairview Mall, you have Bayview Village, which isn't too far away, IKEA, and you have Shops at Don Mills. There's also a lot of green space. You have the Donalda Club. There's really a lot going on in this neighborhood if you prefer to be in the eastern part of North York. Another nice thing about Parkwoods is that you have a lot of these nature trails that run through these ravine systems, and you have some amazing parks that are nearby and conservation areas. So this is such a great family neighborhood if you really want to be closer to Scarborough, if you want to be close to the DVP, and you can get some beautiful homes on these streets. Let's get in the car and I'll show you what it looks like. The terrain here is rolling and hilly, which is unusual for this part of the city, and the streets wind to follow them. This gives Parkwoods a distinct character that a lot of the flatter neighborhoods to the west don't have. North of York Mills Road, you're in a more diverse working class neighborhood. You'll find semi-detached homes, townhomes, and rental units. If you go south of York Mills Road, it gets quieter and considerably more affluent. You're looking at hillside custom homes. Most of the housing dates from the late 1950s and 1960s. Two-story homes in split levels with Tudor and Georgian revival elements. Brookbanks Park, the ravine that winds through the neighborhood center, is the green heart of it all. Here you can find nature trails that are usable year-round. The key schools in this neighborhood include Renee Gordon, Broadlands, and Cassandra Public School. Middle schools and high schools include Donview Middle School, Milne Valley Middle School, George S. Henry Academy, and Victoria Park Collegiate Institute. 49% of the households have children, with an average household income of $124,000. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just under $1.4 million. The lowest sale was $930,000, and the highest sale was just under $3.3 million. For the next neighborhood, depending on who you talk to, some might argue that this technically is not part of North York. But according to Canada Post, it is, and that's Bedford Park, Northtown. This neighborhood is just south of the 401 and borders along Bathurst to the west, and then cuts all the way up Yonge Street to the east. Armour Heights is just above it, and if you look just south, you have Midtown Toronto, which is Yonge and Eglinton right here. Bedford Park, Northtown is such a great and popular family neighborhood, and depending on where you live, you can have very different lifestyles. So if you live closer to Avenue Road, which runs down the middle of Bedford Park, you have a ton of restaurants and shops that are so close to your house, and it's very lively. The closer you are to Bathurst, it can get pretty quiet. There isn't as much built up as you have on Avenue Road, but you do have a plaza at Bathurst and Lawrence that has a Metro, a Shoppers, a Winners, and a bunch of other stores, coffee, and food options. As you can see on the map, Bedford Park Northtown does cover quite a large area, and within this neighborhood, there are different pockets that people can focus on. So you have homes near Ledbury Park. South of Lawrence, you have Caribou Park. And then if you go up to the northeastern part, you have the Cricket Club, which is more of an upscale and well-established part of the neighborhood. You're also very close to the Toronto Cricket, Skating, and Curling Club. This is a private membership club and a premier multi-sport facility located on Wilson Avenue, just east of Avenue Road. And depending on where you live in Bedford Park, Northtown, the subway can be pretty close. You have York Mill Station up here, which isn't too far from the Cricket Club portion. And then if you live more towards the south end near Lawrence, you can take a bus, Uber, or drive to Lawrence Station, which is right here. And if you live closer to Bathurst, you're not too far from Lawrence West Station, which is on the other side by the Allen. Very convenient to get onto highways here. The 401 is just at the northern end, and that can bring you right over to the Allen as well. Depending on traffic, you might take Avenue Road more into Midtown and downtown Toronto. So let's get in the car and I'll show you the different pockets of Bedford Park Northtown and the options that you would have if you lived here. As I mentioned in the intro, Bedford Park Northtown is such a great neighborhood that's geared towards families, especially if you have young children. Nice long tree-lined streets and a ton of parks nearby. It has an excellent selection of public and private schools. Bedford Park's original houses were built in the 1920s to the 1940s. Now, a lot of these original homes have been demolished and replaced with large custom-built homes, as we can see driving through the neighborhood. This area generally follows a grid, but if you get into the Cricket Club, you do have some more windy streets and a little bit of a closer community feel. If you go south of Lawrence to Caribou Park, it can have a bit of a different feel, definitely more treed in, and the streets are not as long as the ones that are north of Lawrence. The schools in this neighborhood are some of the top rated in the entire city. You have Bannockburn Public School, Armour Heights Public School, John Wanless Junior Public School, John Ross Robertson Junior Public School, Ledbury Park Elementary and Middle School, and you have some great high schools such as Northern Secondary School, Lawrence Park Collegiate Institute, and York Mills Collegiate Institute. There are also a lot of private, Catholic, and Jewish options for education in the neighborhood. 46% of the households have children with an average household income of $266,000. In 2025, the average price of a detached home was just under $2.9 million, with the lowest sale at $1.25 million and the highest sale at $7.9 million. Okay, so that wraps up our top 8 neighborhoods in North York. I hope you found this video helpful and that it covered a lot of details about each neighborhood. I'm going to cover more neighborhoods in the future, so comment below if you think I missed any, and subscribe to this channel so you can see those videos about different neighborhoods in Toronto. Again, my name is Jamie Goldman and I've been a broker in Toronto for over 12 years. I've helped clients buy and sell all over the GTA. If you're looking for a home in North York and you're interested in any of the neighborhoods that I've talked about today, or even some of the neighborhoods that I didn't mention, you can reach me by phone, email, or text. Again, here's my contact information. I also have links in the description below where you can reach out to me and even book a Zoom call with me to talk about your real estate goals. And until next time, take care.